Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Confidence Through Cabaret. I'm Heather. I'm one of the co-pioneers of Confidence Through Cabaret, where we aspire to uplift and support everyone's journey in building confidence, whether it's in your personal life, your work life, or your stage life, whatever your stage is. I'm so excited to be back here with you. So yesterday we launched a new masterclass on our website, which is www.confidencethroughcabaret.com. And we were talking about hope. And we were talking about that it's the ability to take small steps towards goals. And we will absolutely come back to goal setting. For today's segment and for Tuesdays, what we're aiming to do is really kind of talk about our personal lives and really kind of getting to the core of personal confidence. So today I thought we'd talk about values and clarifying our values. There's a lot of stuff. Everybody's talking about mindset. Everybody's talking about, inner alignment and all of those wonderful things. And I am not for a second suggesting that those are not good things to do or have. However, sometimes when people talk about it, you think, I'm supposed to have inner alignment. How do I get it? What do I do? And I've been there and I've thought, yeah, I want that, but I don't know where to begin. And I don't like to ask for help, and I don't like to appear like I don't know. And so you can Google around and you can find some stuff. But I thought we would begin our new year and our inner alignment with really kind of understanding ourselves. And so when we talk about building confidence in our personal life, we have to be able to give ourselves permission to whatever you need. So permission to have days off of doing inner work, permission to not do the things that you had on your action plan, or stray off a little bit for a certain amount of time. For example, I might have goals and aspirations of doing more fitness, and then I have a day off where my body is telling me I need a day off, or my mind is telling me I just need one more cookie. I mean, you have to be able to give yourself permission. So if you're going to do the work, I believe you can have a good time or you can do hard time. So I like to be able to have a good time. I like to be able to have some play with it. And that's one of my own personal values. But it's also really important to me to being able to give myself permission to explore. And I think, when we talk about understanding ourselves and building confidence on a personal life, then, if you can't enjoy the journey, I mean, the journey's the point. Surely the journey is the point, because what happens when you get to the destination? You have a new destination, or you have new things that you want, or you have to, and so it's a constant journey. So give yourself permission. Spend a couple minutes right after you watch this and make a few notes of things that you give yourself permission to whatever you need, and it's almost like a little kind of, it's okay if I don't do that today, or if I do that and I wasn't going to. It's okay. Try not to, but give yourself some forgiveness. So let's launch into values and clarification of values. So a value is about our way of being and our way of believing, and our values are what we hold as the most important. So that's actually the way that Brené Brown describes values, is being or believing or holding importance. And I wouldn't say it's unique to Brené Brown. I would say that anyone who's talking about values work would describe it that way. But I know a lot of you will be familiar with her work. I look at values, our core values, as really focusing on our internal beliefs. And our internal beliefs inform how we make our choices and how we live our lives. So if you were to think about what things are important to you, what things are core beliefs that enable you to act, enable you to recognize your opinions, what would you say your values are? So it might be something like that you're reliable or dependable. It might be something like you're loyal or you're committed. It might be something like you're open-minded and non-judgmental. It might be something like you're honest, or your values are around protecting, family and those people in your community. Have a think about what beliefs are core for you that determine or define how you live your life. So just go back to that values way of being. Values are a way of being or believing that you hold important. So if you were here with us yesterday, you will know that we launched a masterclass on our new website, which is www.confidencethroughcabaret.com. And we were talking to the wonderful Erica Bowen, who did a masterclass for us on hope. And Erica talked about hope coming from a place of where are our values and what's our action and our path, and what small steps can we take to really aligning with our values. And I think, when we discussed values with Erica, she very capably talked about what do you argue for? What's important? What kind of things would you say? No, this is my line. This is not okay. Because that's a good place to start. So spend a few minutes. List what are your behaviors. List what are your beliefs. List what do you live by. For me, family is definitely up there, and commitment is up there. Honesty is definitely there. Caring or kindness, and I think when you list them, and I what I would recommend you do is take a brainstorm, like just get some paper or get some note place and just make some notes about, here are all the things that are important to me. And then what you'll find is that some of them nest into the other. So, for example, I mentioned kindness and caring. So what do they fit under? Does kindness kind of come under part of your caring nature? Or does caring come under your kindness? Or do they all come under your community value, for example? So you'll start to find that they nest. So when I first did my values list, I think I had 13 values, and they are all certainly ways that I would describe my beliefs and my core being. But some of them are really talking about the same things. So start with your list. That's step one. Okay, what would you define as your core being and your beliefs and your way that you feel that you should live your life? Then have a look at each of those items on your list and look at what core behaviors. What do you do that support your values? Do you know what action do you take under your values? So, for example, if it's caring, then for me, then that fits very much with family. That fits very much with community. That fits very much with, with friends and actually anybody I come across who's in need. I have a very strong empathetic drive. And so if you look at the behaviors, some of them you'll start to see, my kindness and caring really come under my sense of commitment to community. And so you'll start to see how they nest together. So do your brainstorm, list what you can, and then look at what behaviors support each of those values, and you'll start to see where your values are nesting. And then look at what actions or activities that you engage in that highlight your values, that really show what you're living by. So, for example, play is one of my values. And I've had a lot of debate and I've had a lot of pushback about play being a value. Can that really be a value? Does it fit under joy? And yes, for some people, joy would be the value and play would fit underneath it. Zest for life might be a way of somebody describing it. I describe mine as play, and I stand by the fact that that is something that I live my life by. My behaviors support that value, or what I define as that value. My actions and activities very strongly fit under that. And actually, my value of play, my value, it contains zest, and it contains joy, and it contains optimism. And And you could argue that any one of those words could be the value. But for me, the one that resonates, the one that I take action on, is play. And so I like that to be my value because, or I like that to be the word the language that I use around it, because actually it's something that I take action on. It's something that I have activities around all the time. So I've had a lot of difficult parts of my journey. I'm a woman who has survived abuse. I'm a woman who is divorced and also widowed. I have grown children. I've been through lots of ups and downs. I'm also a breast cancer survivor, and I don't say those things lightly. I will happily share those things. But for me, hope and play have been the things that have gotten me through those times. And I think the fact that I use play instead of joy means that there's an action I can take around it. And so that helps me really understand what I value. And if I was to use a word like joy or zest, there were lots of days I did not feel joy or zest. But there were very few days when I didn't feel like I wanted to play. So I live by that. My behaviors align with that. My actions and my activities align with that. And so I would say, make your list of things that you live by, of beliefs that you strongly follow. Make a list of the behaviors that support those values that you've listed, and then start to nest them together and look at what actions or activities you take that highlight your values. So my values are things like courage. I don't believe that we should avoid, or I don't believe, no, let me rephrase. I don't believe I should avoid things that I fear just because I fear them. And so courage is a very strong one for me. And that's where I came to Cabaret, and I'll share my Cabaret journey with you at another session. But, it was like, I was so afraid of it. I was so afraid to take up space. I was so afraid to be heard. I was so afraid to be seen. And that made no sense. And so I had to explore that, because fear wasn't going to hold me back, because courage is such a strong value of mine. So spend some time with yourself and just take those 3 steps of making your list and looking at your behaviors and your actions, and then try and look at what are your core values? What are your key ones? And actually, you're going to find that when you start to list them, there's actually a hierarchy to them. So for example, if I had honesty and family as my values, then would I lie for my family? I don't know. I don't have an answer to that. But there's a hierarchy to it. Some people would say absolutely, because family is more important. Other people would say never, because honesty is more important. And you're both right. But what I'm saying is, when you start to play with it, you'll actually be able to even order them when you've identified your core values. Aim for about 5 or 6. If you have more, no worries. If they are all things that you take action on, fine. But most of us have a few core values. So aim for those. And then I'd love to hear your comments. We are on Facebook. We have an amazing, free, supportive, active community where we uplift and support each other through challenges. It's called Confidence Through Cabaret. No surprise. It's on Facebook. We are also on Confidence Through Cabaret on all of the socials, except for Twitter, which is at and then YBYWYS, because our phrase, our slogan is your body, it's your world, and it's your stage. And I'm so happy that you're here with us. Do check out our podcast. It's on all of the sites where you'll find podcasts. I'll tell you more about that tomorrow. I'll be joined by my wonderful co-pioneer partner, Ryan, and we'll be sharing with you our first podcast interview. Go check out our website, confidencethroughcabaret.com, register, have a look at the masterclasses, enjoy. And we love having you here. We'd love to hear how you're doing. Like and subscribe below, and I will see you tomorrow. Thanks, everyone. Bye.